Let's go into the courtroom now. We're showing you some footage under your testimony that is key to this case. It's when the state was still presenting. We know we're in real time. We're in the defense case. But this was one of the last witnesses that this jury heard from the prosecution. A lead detective talking about critical surveillance footage of the defendant. Let's watch.
Good morning, Sergeant.
Good morning.
May I have the access to this play, Your Honor? Sergeant, when we left yesterday, last evening, we finished talking about the trip of the white pickup truck from the residence area to past the Marathon towards the apartment, remember?
Yes.
Okay. And we talked about how there were, at 1:59, it passed the Vasquez residence, and at about 2:02, it passed the Marathon gas station, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we're looking at state 66 here. When you reviewed the victim's cell phone data, and this results of the cell phone extraction, did you find a geolocation entry for the victim's cell phone at 2:12 a.m. for the morning of Friday, March 24th?
Yes.
I'm showing you state 62 and the report from that. What does this entry number 3 show?
This is the longitude and latitude for the entry time of 2:12 a.m. The longitude and latitude is on the left, and this is from the victim's phone.
And when you plotted that on a Google Earth map, where did it show the victim's phone was located in relation to the apartment?
The phone was at the apartment.
Now, this doesn't mean that that is the exact time the phone arrived at the apartment, does it?
No.
What does this actually mean?
This just means that the phone is at the apartment at that time that it logged that location in the phone.
Okay. So it could have arrived before that time, but this just is when the phone itself decided to create a geolocation entry.
Correct.
I understand. And this would be the Friday morning before the victim's body was found?
Yes.
What did the victim's phone location say about the phone from this point until it was recovered by law enforcement?
That phone stayed at that location until we showed up and collected it that morning that we were called out there, and we found him deceased. The sheriff's office came out there and found him deceased.
Was there any user entries in the phone, website searches, email checks, anything like that on that phone during that period of time?
No.
May the witness step down again, Your Honor?
Sure.
Using State's Exhibit 64, the general map, if that truck that we just saw travel up towards the apartment, left that apartment and traveled back the same way, would it pass the Marathon gas station again?
Yes, it would.
When you reviewed the Marathon gas station, what did you see at about 2:23 in the morning?
I saw a truck consistent with the appearance of Herbert Swilley's traveling back south, which would be the direction of where the primary residence is.
And using the map, can you trace the path of that truck according to the surveillance footage? Okay. Publishing states 49. So which direction will this truck be headed in this surveillance?
South.
Okay, and the image up here will be from right to left or left to right?
It's going to be going from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen.
Okay. And you mentioned the defendant's truck had that distinct black tailgate?
Yes.
Okay. Using State 64 again, like we talked about earlier, now if you're traveling south, the opposite direction we saw earlier, from Marathon south, would you pass Triple Crown?
Yes.
Did you review the surveillance footage to see if you could see a similar looking white pickup truck traveling south on 441 past Triple Crown?
Yes.
Your Honor, may we reduce the lights again, please?
Tracy, lights.
Thank you. We see the timestamp footage on this surveillance as being 1:45 a.m. Knowing that that timestamp is 40 minutes off, what would the actual time be for this footage?
Approximately 2:25 a.m.
Again, using the map on stage 64, traveling south on 441, passing Triple Crown that we just saw, would you come now to Green for Life if the vehicle turned left on Southeast 52nd Street?
Yes.
When you reviewed the Green for Life footage around this time period that the truck would have arrived in that area, what did you notice?
The timestamp for the Green for Life footage skips over the time where we would expect the truck to be at. So there was no entry there. It just skipped over that time spot.
So when you're actually watching the footage play, the timestamp goes from one section, skips a section, and starts up again?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no video during that period of time by which the truck would have been passing?
Correct.
Understood. Showing you states 45. When you reviewed the surveillance footage from Pedro Vasquez's house, what did you notice around this time period, 2:25 or so?
So when I was reviewing that video at about 2:27, I observed a vehicle that is consistent with the appearance of Herbert Swilley's vehicle traveling southbound down this road here.
So it would have been captured by the rear-facing cameras of Mr. Vasquez's residence?
Yes.
Showing you states 47. Can you kind of describe to the jury which camera angle we're looking at using the map?
This camera angle is the one that's looking more towards the north side.
Okay. And at the top of this image, which major road would be at the top of this photograph?
52nd Street would be at the top of this video.
So this road up here on the top of this map?
Yes.
Okay. And describe the path of travel that we're going to see this vehicle take.
It's going to go down this road in this direction,
Okay.
which is south.
Publishing states 47. The next camera angle, can you point to the jury using the map which camera angle we're looking at here?
This camera angle is more so south. It's a southward facing camera angle on facing the same roadway.
This camera will be facing the Swilley residence?
Yes.
Based on the direction of the camera angle, is that consistent with the truck turning into the Swilley property?
Yes, it is.
Is there a gate on that side of the Swilley property that has to be opened?
Yes.
We saw a brief pause in the vehicle's movement. Is that consistent with the gate?
Yes.
Okay. At what time did this vehicle pass the camera angles that we just saw?
2:27 a.m.
Showing you states 65, we saw this earlier. You described that Google Maps indicates it should take about 4 minutes to travel the 1.7 miles from Marathon gas station to the defendant's residence.
Yes.
If the Marathon gas station footage
Hitting the pause button on this testimony to bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Jack Rice. Jack, this case has me wondering why it did not plead out. There is a lot of evidence here. Once the defense found out that the daughter was going to say that my dad told me to lie, once they knew they had the surveillance video, and once they knew that these friends were going to be saying, yeah, he wanted the money and he didn't want to have to deal with his husband anymore. Why do you think there wasn't maybe a plea offer or a plea negotiation in this case?
Oh, it's a great question. First of all, it's quite a dance between the prosecutor and that police officer, isn't it? Watching how they do it and how they run through that video, and it's really seamless. They're doing this as a team, and it felt like a team, just like a ping pong match almost, just bang, 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 bang. But when we think about these, there are sometimes, we go to trial in cases because we're backed into it. There are those times when we simply don't get offers. Sometimes it's political. Sometimes the state feels so strong about the evidence that they have that they make no offers whatsoever. Or sometimes you will have clients who simply refuse under any circumstances to plead guilty to anything. And so there simply is no chance. You know, sometimes we call this control or lack thereof of your client. And that can happen too, where sometimes we're going to trial even though there's a lot of evidence. The offers are amazing, incredible even sometimes. And the answer is, well, here we are. And you just take a breath and jump off the cliff.
Jack, that surveillance video that they're talking about showing the defendant leaving the apartment, leaving his residence. When we talk about circumstantial evidence, you know, you're not showing a crime in that video. It's just showing that he's leaving at an odd time during the night. I mean, could you do anything with that as defense counsel?
You know, we talked about this a little last segment as well, and that's this notion of direct versus circumstantial evidence, this idea that this automatically means something. And after the fact, it seems to mean something, but does it necessarily? And what you really are going to do in many ways is there an alternative explanation? Is there an alternative narrative that makes sense of this that a jury has? And then what you do is you have to wrap that around the proof beyond a reasonable doubt, burden of proof that the state must establish in a case like this. And if you can come up with an alternative explanation and say simply, guess what? They may have a narrative, but this one works just as well. And in fact, if you have multiple narratives and there is any doubt, any reasonable doubt, then you must find this person not guilty, no matter what you feel, no matter how this seems under the circumstances. They didn't answer every reasonable question that you had.
Yeah. In this case, I don't know if there is any sort of reasonable reason.
But we
You backed me into a corner.
I know. Sorry, Jack. I was waiting to hear what you had to say, but thank you, as always. Moving on, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. You're watching Court TV Live, your front row seat to justice.
My two best friends were just murdered.
Join me for a Court TV true crime series where we take you from the crime scene to the courtroom.
Donna Adelson hates every piece of grass that Dan Marcel ever walked on.
It's something that'll haunt all of us forever.
It always seemed like he was covering or deceiving.
This was a whole different level.
Victim to Verdict with Ted Rowlands, a Court TV original series. Season premieres September 27th.
Only on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. We are following this trial out of Ocala, Florida. A man is facing charges for the 2023 murder of his husband, Tim Smith.
Defendant Herbert Swilley faces first-degree murder charges in the death of his husband, Tim. Deputies allege that Swilley drugged Smith, strangled him, fractured his neck, and then drove his body to the couple's apartment and staged a crime scene.
And the jury has watched that surveillance video of his movements, not of him committing the crime, but going in and out of key places. Let's pick it up where we left off. This lead detective who testified earlier today, unaired testimony, where he talked about the surveillance video that they gathered tracking this defendant's movements.
Marathon gas station footage showed the truck passing by at 2:23, and Pedro Vasquez's footage showed the truck passing by at 2:27, 4 minutes later. Is that consistent with the Google Map estimated time?
Yes.
Showing us the marked states exhibit triple P. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes.
Generally, what is that?
This is a map, a visualization of the path of the truck with all the times that I just described.
Does that fairly accurately depict the area as well as the times we just saw?
Yes.
State removes states triple P and evidence is 67.
Any objection?
No objection.
The objection, PPP, but evidence does not. What's the next number?
67.
Evidence number 67. PPP, 67.
Showing you states 67, can you kind of explain to the jury what we're looking at?
Starting at the top, the time that the vehicle passed by the Marathon gas station is noted at 2:23, then passing by the Triple Crown at approximately 2:25. It then shows passing by the Vasquez residence at 2:27 on the bottom.
Now, when you testified 2 days ago, you mentioned that when you met with the defendant the day the victim's body was found, you looked through his ring application with him.
Yes.
And that you saw some still shots around this time period, early morning hours of Friday the 24th, right?
Yes.
Did you see a still shot from the defendant's ring application at 2:25?
Yes.
And what did that show?
There was no vehicle there at 2:25.
Is that consistent with the surveillance footage we just looked at showing the vehicle not yet passing the Vasquez surveillance and not being at the Swilley residence?
Yes.
What did you see on the defendant's ring, the still shot? Because there was no video attached, correct?
Correct, just a still shot.
What did you see on the ring camera application at 2:28?
At 2:28, there was a truck on the property with a male figure standing by it.
Is that consistent with the truck, according to the surveillance footage, arriving and passing by the Vasquez house at 2:27 a minute earlier?
Yes.
When you went to the apartment Saturday morning when the victim's body was found, was the victim's Jeep there?
Yes.
I'm showing you a photograph from States 5. Moving ahead to about 13 minutes later, when you reviewed the footage from Pedro Vasquez's property, what did you see at 2:40 a.m.?
There is a vehicle that travels up this road here towards 52nd Street.
Publishing States 47. And again, which camera angle using the map states 64, I believe. What does this show?
This is Pedro Vasquez's camera that faces the southern portion of the road, which partially sees part of the Swilley Tim Smith residence.
In which direction of travel are we going to see the vehicle take, according to that?
Traveling northbound.
Okay, towards 52nd Street?
Yes.
You know, we'll be looking in the direction of the Swilley property.
Yes.
And the second angle from the Vasquez property, which direction is this camera facing?
This is more of the northern facing camera that is facing more towards 52nd Street.
In which direction are we going to see this vehicle traveling?
Traveling north.
And at what time, according to the surveillance footage from Mr. Vasquez's house, did that vehicle pass by?
2:40 a.m.
Again, using state 64, which direction did that Vehicle go.
Up in a northern direction towards 52nd.
That vehicle reached Southeast 52nd Street and turned left. Where would they be traveling? According to the state 64, the map.
Turns left, it would go north on 441.
Okay, if it turned left on 52nd.
Oh, if it was left on 52nd, it would be going west in the direction of 441.
Then would that be passing green for life as well?
Yes.
When you reviewed the green for life footage at around 240 or so, what did you see?
At about 241, I was able to see a white Jeep that's consistent with the appearance of victim Tim Smith's Jeep heading westbound in the direction of 441.
Showing you states 51. In which direction did that Jeep turn?
Turned northbound onto 441.
Like we've already discussed, we've heard the timestamp on the green for life footage was about 1 hour and 3 minutes off. Accounting for that time difference, at what time would this footage have actually been taking place?
It's about 2:41 a.m.
And that's about a minute after the vehicle passed Pedro Vasquez's.
Yes.
Again, headed using state 64, heading north on 441 with the vehicle pass Triple Crown shortly thereafter.
Yes.
When you reviewed the Triple Crown footage at around this time, what did you find?
At 2:43 a.m., I observed a vehicle that's consistent with the appearance of Tim Smith's vehicle passing by northbound.
Showing you the Triple Crown footage.
All right, we have to hit the pause button so we can slip in a break. Our thanks to Jack Rice for all of his analysis this hour. More testimony in the dosed and choked murder trial for Herbert Swilley. We'll be back. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julia Janae, along with Kelly Craft, who is here filling in for Ted Rowlands, and we are all watching this trial happening in Florida. The fate of Herbert Swilley could soon be in the hands of a jury.
And he's accused of drugging and then strangling his husband, Tim Smith, to death back in 2023.
Prosecutors say that Swilley then moved Smith's body to an apartment that they owned and staged it to make the scene look like it was actually a sexual encounter with a stranger gone wrong.
Let's get you back into the courtroom now. We have been listening to some key testimony from the state's case that took place earlier this morning, and we're listening to the lead detective who is testifying to critical surveillance footage of the defendant.
Did you review the surveillance footage provided by Stuart Mitchell, who lived at the apartment next to the apartment where the victim's body was found?
Yes.
Generally, what did you see?
I've learned that that camera is motion activated. I found that at 2:32 a.m. there was a cat that activated the camera, and I was able to see that there was no Jeep in that parking lot. Then at 3:26 a.m. the cat activated the camera again, and then there was a Jeep in that parking lot.
And the first time you talked about the Jeep not being there was when?
That was at 2:32 a.m. That's when there was no Jeep there.
Okay, and at that time, is that consistent with the other surveillance footage showing the Jeep had not yet arrived?
Yes.
And at 3:36 was when the Jeep was seen in the footage?
Yes, the Jeep was there by that time.
And is that consistent with the surveillance footage showing the Jeep passing the Marathon gas station earlier?
Yes.
Showing you State's Exhibit 52. Generally, what are we looking at here?
This is looking out of the neighboring apartment, which was, if you're looking at the crime scene, if you're looking at the apartments, Tim and Herbert's is on the left. This one is on the right. So we are looking out of his window towards that front parking lot where cars were parked.
And with the apartment that the victim leased, is that over on this side?
It's, yes, it's way over on the right in this video, or in this picture, in this video, it's over there.
Okay.
Is where it is at.
And we see an empty parking space right here.
Yes.
And what time is this?
This was at 2:32 a.m.
Publishing states 52. See the cat? The next piece of footage, what is the timestamp on this piece of footage?
This one is 3:26 a.m. now.
What do we see in that upper right-hand corner of the video?
Just the part of the back of the Jeep, of Tim Smith's Jeep.
According to the surveillance footage provided, did the Jeep arriving, the action of the Jeep arriving, trigger the motion sensor on the camera?
No,
How much of the Jeep was shown in the surveillance footage, for the record?
just a very small portion.
If the white truck that we saw, if we know the Jeep did not, entering the parking lot did not trigger this motion sensor, if the white truck that we saw earlier entered in the same manner and parked next to the Jeep, would that have triggered the motion sensor based on the camera view that you're looking at?
Sustained.
Okay. Showing you it's been marked to State's Exhibit Triple Q. Do you recognize this item?
Yes.
What does this show?
This is showing the drive time, the total time to the apartment from the primary residence.
Does it fairly accurately depict the area as well as the drive time?
Yes.
Judge State would move State's Triple Q into evidence has been judicially noticed as State's 68.
No objection.
Without objection, Q. We're going to have the state number 68.
Can you explain to the jury what we're looking at with State's 68?
This is depicting the total drive time and distance from the primary residence where they live and sleep at up to the apartment where Tim Smith was found. And it's indicating in here that in a vehicle, it's a 5-minute drive time, 2.2 mile distance.
Showing you what's been marked to State's Exhibit Triple R. Do you recognize this item?
Yes.
What does this generally show?
This is going over the times that I discussed, and it's depicting the times on there with the map and the places.
Does this item fairly and accurately depict the location as well as the times in the surveillance we just looked at?
Yes.
This time State would move RRR into evidence as 69.
No objection.
Without objection, RRR, evidence number 69.
Showing you State's 69. What does this show?
This is a visual depiction of the times that I just went over, including all of them, starting at the very bottom. Pedro Vasquez's residence at 2:40 a.m., where a vehicle passed by and it was visible in that camera, followed by Green for Life, a vehicle consistent with the appearance of Tim Smith passing by at 2:41, then followed by the 2:43 video from Triple Crown and the 2:43 video also from Marathon.
Does this also show the time, the Uconnect, the time located on the Uconnect report of the cell phone connecting to the Jeep?
Yes, 2:44.
Okay. Was that actually at 2:44 and 54 seconds or something to that effect?
Something like that.
Okay. Is the 5-minute expected travel time, according to Google Maps, consistent with what the surveillance and the Uconnect report shows?
Yes.
In the footage that we just looked at, we saw that the victim's Jeep was still parked in that same location, and that it was still there the day after when the victim's body was found. Am I right?
Yes.
Did you review the Marathon gas station footage to see if there were any figures walking from the direction of the apartment towards the direction of where the residence would be?
Yes, I did.
Using the map, State 64, can you show the jury first explain what you found on the Marathon gas station?
At approximately 2:52 a.m., looking across the street from the Marathon gas station across Lake Weir, there's some businesses with lights that are quite bright. I'm able to see a figure that is passing southbound, which would be the direction of where the primary residence is, crossing across those lights at about that time.
Showing you States 49. Before I play it, would you mind explaining to the jury what to look for?
Sure. All the way across the street, there is some very... So over in this area, there's some very bright lights like I described. When the video is playing, watching this area here, I'm able to see a figure pass by moving from this direction to this direction.
And at what time did that surveillance footage show that figure traveling that direction?
2:52 a.m.
Showing you what's been introduced as States SSS. Do you recognize that item?
Yes, I do.
What is that?
This is the Google Maps walking distance. If you were to walk from the Marathon gas station down to the primary residence, listing the time of 35 minutes and 1.6 miles walking.
At this time, State would move State's Exhibit SSS into evidence. It's also been judicially noticed, Your Honor.
No objection. The objection S will be in evidence number 70.
Sir. Showing you State 70. Explain what we're looking at here.
So this is the Google Maps walking distance. This is how long it would take a normal walking rate for 37 minutes from the Marathon gas station, covering 1.7 miles, going south down 441, going to 52nd, and then walking down south to Tim and Herbert Smith's residence.
Does this actually show two different potential paths, one being 37 and 136?
Yes.
Okay. So if that figure that we saw passing the Marathon gas station at 2:52 a.m., according to Google Maps, a normal walking pace, about when would that figure arrive if it was traveling to the defendant's residence?
Approximately 3:26 a.m. Yes.
Did you indicate that you reviewed the extraction data from the defendant's phone?
Yes.
Based on the location data from the defendant's phone, where was that phone located from the evening of March 23rd around 6:45 p.m. through the next morning until about 5 a.m.?
At his primary residence.
From about 2 a.m. until 3:26 a.m., the period of time that we saw the vehicles traveling back and forth, did you see any outgoing calls or texts from the defendant's phone?
No.
Any website searches?
No.
Anything to indicate the defendant's phone was actively being used by the user?
No.
Are there entries in the phone called device events?
Yes.
What are those?
It's the phone logging whenever you do something. You turn the screen on, you turn the screen off, you use a flashlight, different events that would log it as a device event.
Looking at the defendant's phone data, was there a device event entry at 9:26 p.m. on Thursday evening?
I don't recall specifically.
Okay, that's fine. Did you notice a device entry on the defendant's phone indicating the phone was being turned on at 3:26 a.m.?
Yes.
Assuming the normal walk time of the Google map we just looked at, would that be consistent with when that figure would have arrived at the defendant's residence?
Yes.
All right, the lead detective in this case really doing a good job explaining all of this to the jury. We're going to squeeze in a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
Young mother found brutally murdered.
Now the victim's boyfriend, a married father of 4,
is charged for the murder of his alleged mistress and her unborn child.
The pregnant mistress murder trial. Live coverage today, only on Court TV.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, the ex-boyfriend of Wendy Adelson and the explosive police interview. What he told police and what could be next in the Adelson saga.
Closing Arguments tonight at 8/7 Central on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. We continue to follow the dosed and choked murder trial for Herbert Swilley happening in Ocala, Florida.
And he's a 57-year-old contractor and accused of killing his husband, Tim Smith, and then staging his murder as a sexual encounter gone wrong.
And that's what the defense is saying here, but the prosecution says no, this was a cold-blooded murder. They've charged him with first-degree murder, and they say that he even killed his husband in their home together, but then moved the body to an apartment that they used for sexual encounters with other men.
Yeah, I mean, they've talked about that bleach that's been at the scene. So why don't we go ahead and get you back into the courtroom. We have been listening to the lead detective, and we're playing for you some unaired testimony from this morning in which he's really describing a lot of the surveillance video and seeing a white figure.
What did you find on the defendant's phone data regarding what happened with his phone after it was turned on and used?
At 3:26 a.m., the phone then accesses the Ring application.
Showing your report from State 63. What are we looking at here?
This is showing the application usage for Herbert Swilley's phone for the times of 3:26 here, showing that the phone was using it.
And the second page of that report, or the bottom page of the bottom part of the first page, what does this show?
It's continuing to show Ring application usage. Those are the entry logs from the phone.
And the second page of the report?
Continued use. The phone ultimately was being used by Ring.
Hold on. I don't think anyone can read that. So.
There's two.
63, please. Showing you defendant or States 63. Generally, what does the phone show about accessing the Ring application?
Hold on a second. Approach everybody.
According to exactly what's written on the report, during what period of time was the Ring camera application accessed?
The phone is logging use of the Ring application from 3:26 and 31 seconds a.m. until 3:27:09 a.m.
According to States 63, according to the exact information on the report, did the phone access Facebook during that period of time?
Yes.
During what period of time?
The phone is logging usage from 3:27 and 26 seconds a.m. until 4:34 and 47 seconds a.m.
According to what's written in the report, did the phone also access Grindr during that period of time?
Yes, it did.
During what period of time was it accessing Grindr?
Logging access from 3:40 and 49 seconds a.m. until 4:04 and 30 seconds a.m.
According to the report, did the phone also access Gmail?
Yes.
During what period of time?
Gmail access at 3:40 and 2 seconds a.m. and 3:53 and 28 seconds a.m.
When you spoke with the defendant, what did he tell you about his sleeping habits the night of Thursday the 23rd into the early morning hours of Friday the 24th?
He told me he slept through the night till 4:40 and he sleeps hard.
Is the phone data consistent with that?
No.
Okay, you can have a seat. Thank you. Was surveillance footage also recovered from the dump early Friday morning?
Yes.
What did that video show?
There's video from the baseline Mary Camp dump that at 7:07 a.m., a vehicle consistent with the appearance of Herbert Swilley's truck pulls into the dump, and then at 7:14 a.m., a vehicle consistent with the appearance of Herbert Swilley's truck with a trailer attached. It was a trailer attached both ways, then leaves the baseline dump.
Did the trailer have any identifying information on it?
It said on one of the sides, Herbie's Handyman Service or something to that effect.
Okay. Was that trailer consistent with the trailer attached to the white truck when he went to his house?
It wasn't. When I went to his White House to interview him, it was not attached to his truck at that time. There was an enclosed one. This was an open top. It was on the property near the back.
Okay. Showing you States 57. Is this the surveillance from the dump?
Yes.
And what is the timestamp on it?
It's 7:07 a.m.
Let's go ahead and bring in our guest for this hour to discuss. Joining us now from Sarasota, Florida, trial attorney Alexis Rosenberg. Alexis, thanks so much for being with us this hour. All right, we're listening to the sergeant on the stand, the lead detective in this case, and he's reviewing a lot of the evidence, surveillance footage, also in particular what he was just talking about, showing Swilley's his wagon, dump truck, taking it, going to a dump area. And I know some people have said in this case that, you know, this isn't maybe unusual for him to maybe go to a dump site, but it seems suspicious.
It definitely seems suspicious, but if he was a handyman, I mean, it wouldn't be highly unusual for him to go to the dump probably on a regular basis, you know, depending on the situation. Although it's not great because we do have this video that appears to him going to the dump, along with the testimony with the timeline, because, you know, it's not suspicious that somebody wakes up and goes on the internet either. But the fact the phone was off, you could argue he was asleep. But this timeline that's been provided does raise some questions.
Oh, yeah, a lot of questions. And the more that we see this evidence, I'm curious your thoughts on this, Alexis, because you're there in Florida, so you know some of the different lesser charges that there could be in a case like this. First degree is what he is charged with. But I was wondering about why, with all of this evidence that's against him, there isn't the argument of something like self-defense, something like I was defending myself or we got in a fight, I didn't mean it, it was, you know, anger. We've seen that in some other trials and it's actually worked. One of them, Dr. Ingolf Turk, that we covered not too long ago, he argued he choked his wife to death, buried her in a pond, put rocks in her pockets, but ultimately he said, I didn't mean to do it, and the jury gave him something lesser. Do you think this defense should have gone a different way other than I didn't do it?
I don't know. I mean, that's obviously a strategic decision that's made with the attorney and the client as to how you're going to approach it. I think that there's a, you know, they had the second house. That wasn't unusual for them to spend time with other people. And if that's the case, somebody else could have potentially have done this. So I think that's what they're going to stick with, and we'll see what the jury thinks.
Yeah, maybe in this case because of, you know, the lifestyle they had and being able to say, okay, anybody could have been at that apartment, maybe, you know.
And even other DNA is in that apartment. We're going to probably hear more about that in the defense case. Yep. Alexis, thank you for your analysis. Stand by. Let's get to our break. When we come back, more of that surveillance video. What is it going to show and just how damning is it for the defense?
Welcome back to Court TV. I'm Kelly Craft, in today for Ted Rollins, along with Julia Janae.
That's right, and we are in Ocala, Florida, where a murder trial is underway for defendant Herbert Swilley.
He is charged with first-degree murder in the death of his husband, Timothy, who investigators say was drugged, beaten, and strangled before his body was moved to stage a fake crime scene.
We are continuing to follow this critical testimony that was aired this morning, unaired rather, but it happened this morning before the state rested their case. This is how they wanted to end their case in front of the jury. It's a lead detective, and he's been showing these jurors all of that surveillance video showing this defendant moving around in the middle of the night, the same night that his husband was murdered.
Showing you a second clip from the dump surveillance. What's the timestamp on this?
7:14 a.m.
I see a phone number on the trailer, right?
Yes.
Is there also some identifying information on that trailer?
Yes.
Where is it set?
Herbie's Handyman Service, 352-283-2372.
Is that the phone number that you used to contact the defendant throughout this case?
Yes.
moving later into Friday morning and into the afternoon, did you locate any indication whether the defendant's cell phone had sent messages to the victim's cell phone?
Repeat the days?
Sure. The Friday, the 24th, in the morning throughout the day.
Yes, there was text messages.
Okay. Showing you states 63. Did you notice a message from the defendant's phone to the victim's phone at 8:45 a.m.?
Yes.
What was the content of that?
It's for me to read it. I can't read it from there.
Actual report.
The content which was sent to the victim, hey babe, the groomer is there doing the dogs, so if you need anything, just let me know.
What about entry 2 at 10:37 a.m.? What was said?
Hey babe, let me know what you like to do for dinner tonight because I'm done with this shower, so I'm done for the day. Call me or text me.
What about a message number 3 at 3:42 p.m.?
Hey, just want to let you know I'm gonna go to Happy Joyce and free for the meeting. See you there, and I guess we'll decide what's for dinner. Then periods, as I hadn't heard from you today.
Message number 4 at 4:05 p.m. What was said?
I'm gonna swing by your apartment that you have, but I can't get it. I don't have any keys.
What about message 5 at 5:16 p.m.?
Hey, haven't heard from you since you several messages. So I have called the police department to check on. If you get this message, call the sheriffs. Let them know you're okay.
Message 6 at 5:48 p.m.
Hey, Tim, still haven't heard from you. Spend all night, still worried. Please give me a call if you get a chance. Love you.
What about message 7 at 6:06 p.m.?
Hey, babe, I have no idea where you're at, what's going on either, but I am heading to work in the Villages this morning to work on the shower. Please give me a call.
During that same period of time, did you notice any actual outgoing phone calls from the defendant's phone to the victim?
No.
We heard that on March 27th of 2023, you spoke to the defendant and asked if he would bring his Jeep to the sheriff's office, correct?
Yes.
And that was that set the following morning?
Yes.
Did you review some surveillance footage from the AutoZone taken the evening of March 27th after your phone call?
Yes.
Showing you Stacy's Exhibit 58.
All right, we're hitting the pause button on this surveillance video. Those text messages, though, Kelly, where the prosecution is saying he sent all of those knowing that his husband was already dead, even saying that, hey, you might be in your apartment, not our apartment, and I don't have the keys to it.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Like, hearing Pinder just read those text messages and how he was saying, hey, babe,
it's almost like he's trying to emphasize that it was fake.
Yeah. Exactly.
The jury. Let's get to our break. When we come back, we are going to get you back into that courtroom and to see more of this surveillance video. What does the prosecution have?
Tonight on Closing Arguments, the ex-boyfriend of Wendy Adelson and the explosive police interview. What he told police and what could be next in the Adelson saga.
Closing Arguments tonight at 8/7 Central on Court TV.
Join me for a Court TV true crime series.
I've never seen anything like this.
This was a whole different level.
Victim to Verdict with Ted Rowlands. Season premieres September 27th.
Only on Court TV.
Why was Herbert Swilley driving around the night that his husband was murdered if he didn't do it? In the dosed and choked murder trial is what we are following for Herbert Swilley in those murder charges.
Now, Swilley was arrested back in 2023 for the murder of 59-year-old Timothy Floyd Smith, his husband. The couple had been married nearly 8 years, and Smith was found dead in an Ocala apartment after he failed to show up for work.
Let's go back into the courtroom now. We just heard some text messages that the defendant sent to the phone of the victim in this case after this killing would have happened, where he seems to be worried that he can't reach him. The cross-examination of that lead detective is starting now.
Reviewing the records from the cell phone extraction of Jordan's phone, the location of her phone during the period of time that you believe Tim Smith was murdered.
I do not see where I notated, and I do not recall. I do not recall if those records have the geolocation data in them.
Being as thorough as you are, would that have been information you would have included in your report had you become aware of it during your investigation?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not in your report.
Correct.
So you didn't do it.
Restate the question. I didn't do what?
You didn't look into or obtain the location data for Jordan's phone that she had at the time you believe Tim Smith was murdered.
Ultimately, sir, I'm not sure if that phone, without going through the records right now, has any location data on it, because the phone was transferred from one phone to another. I don't know that.
And that's another thing. And that is, you didn't bother to get the data from Jordan's phone until she had already gotten a new phone. Is that right?
I got the phone as soon as I could.
Which was 8 months later?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You had already been promoted, right? You've
Yes.
gotten my client arrested. You've gotten your promotion.
Hold on. When you hear me say hold on, that means hold on.
Sorry, Judge.
If you ask a question, give him a chance to answer before the next question. Okay, go ahead.
You had already gotten promoted, right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You didn't have the location data because you didn't get it while you were investigating this case, right?
I had no opportunity to get it.
You had no opportunity. You went and got warrants for this, that, and the other. You issued investigative subpoenas for this, that, and the other. How could you possibly have not had the opportunity to get it?
I did not believe that I had a legal nexus to write a search warrant that a judge would grant and allow me to collect Jordan Swilley's cell phone.
She was the only other person besides the deceased and the defendant that was at the marital home when you claim Tim Smith was killed. And you say there's no legal nexus?
In my experience as a detective and law enforcement officer, simply having a phone and being inside of a house while something illegal happens...
Excuse me a second. You're not answering the question.
Restate the question. I'm sorry.
Jordan Swilley was the only other person besides the deceased and the defendant that was home at the marital home where you claim Tim Smith was murdered on that date and time.
Yes.
But you're saying there's no legal nexus for you to get her phone data?
No.
Did you ask her for her phone data? Yes or no?
No.
You just didn't do it, right? Right?
I wanted to do it. No, I did not get it until I was able to receive it.
Are you an expert in phones?
No.
Cell phones?
I'm not a phone expert.
Are you an expert in the Ring application?
No.
Well, that's funny, because you told us.
Judge, I'm going to object to the argumentative nature at this point.
This is cross-examination.
Right, I understand. Overrule the objection. That's your question.
But you told us earlier that you had done a test on your own ring application. And you were able to determine that when you delete data, there's still a still image, right?
Yes.
Didn't you say something about that?
Yes.
Okay. And you know what's interesting about all that?
No, I don't know.
Let me tell you.
Oh, hold on. You can just ask questions.
Yes. I'm asking questions.
Okay.
Here's my question.
Yes.
According to you, the only person that saw this still photo from the allegedly deleted Ring app data on defendant's phone at 2:25 a.m., you claim you saw a still shot with no white truck, right?
Yes.
And that's on the morning of Friday, March 24, 2023, right?
Yes.
The morning you claim Herbie used his work truck, Herbie's handyman, left the trailer to move Tim Smith's body.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the only evidence that would definitively put that truck off of the marital home property is what you claim you viewed on that still photo, right?
No.
Oh, since Mr. Vasquez has it on video, it's got to be the same truck, right?
Yes.
Okay. Within a couple of days of you meeting Herbert, Herbert told you that he went to the landfill that morning, didn't he?
Yes.
So it's not like he was hiding that from you. He didn't mention it initially, but he mentioned it.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to have a moment with my colleague.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
Briefly, Your Honor. During the investigation, did you become aware that the defendant had hired an attorney for Jordan?
Yes.
As a law enforcement officer, when somebody has a lawyer, is it common for you to just bypass the lawyer and go and talk to?
No.
Would you have to get a search warrant?
Yes.
Did you feel that you had any legal basis to get a search warrant to forcefully obtain Jordan Swilley's phone?
No.
Let's bring in Alexis Rosenberg. Alexis, okay, defense counsel's getting into, something here, possibly saying this could be Jordan. And it really does make you think about it. Who had access to the victim in this case? Well, the daughter did, and the defendant. And on cross-examination, he's asking him why didn't he investigate the daughter further?
You're right, Kelly. And boy, was he fired up. He was definitely fired up. I think that he's doing his job. He is presenting, hoping to present reasonable doubt that it could have been someone other than the defendant. And these are valid points when you're asking the police officer, what did they get out of the information? And, bringing up the point that he didn't hide that he went to the dump. So I think that it was an effective cross-examination.
Effective cross. I like how you said fiery, because I was concerned about the, I don't want to just call them theatrics, but the tone, of the way that he was really going after this defendant, or detective rather. Sometimes that can turn off the jury when attorneys get that way. What did you make of that?
I think it was a little loud, and it was almost teetering over to that he was yelling at the witness. And you are correct that some jurors will find this to be offensive, and it won't, it won't align with them. But I think it was reflecting the passion, and for you to really believe and think about that there may be some questions here that haven't been answered.
Yeah, and it's even making me think about the Donna Adelson trial, because it's always surprising when a defendant is going to say, or let their attorney say, that there might be someone else who is involved, including someone who is related to them.
Yeah, your own daughter. Yeah, just like they said in Donna's.
Alexis, thank you so much for your analysis this hour. We really appreciate it.